13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
It is much colder this morning, some 20 to 30 degrees colder than yesterday, but we're going even colder than that. I've got those details coming up.
They collect your time zone, your advertising ID, which can be reversed to track exactly who you are.
TikTok banned on all government devices. We explain the decision and a warning about how dangerous the app can be. Plus, we bring you the latest after a woman was shot and killed yesterday in Warner Robins, what her husband believed she was doing.
Then they get to create a work of art or a narrative, anything that they would like to just kind of show what the book means to them and what they learned from the book.
And Friday means our School of the Week is here. Coming up, find out about a Monroe County School's new initiative to get elementary students deep into reading by creating their own videos.
Well, good Friday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over a beautiful downtown Macon. The time is now 6:31 here on this December the 16th. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. I'm Wanye Reese. Before you head out the door, you're definitely going to want to grab that jacket this morning because it's cold, Alex.
It is. We are some 20 to 30 degrees colder than we were this time yesterday morning. We'll take a look at those details in just a moment. But first, where we're sitting right now, 37 in Dublin, 39 over in Gordon, 39 in Macon and in Warner Robins, 36 down in Unadilla, and 35 in Cochran at this hour. Here's where things stack up to 6:31 yesterday morning. 32 degrees colder in Cordele, 28 degrees colder in Macon, 26 degrees colder in Wrightsville, and 28 degrees colder in Marshallville. So yes, it is cold outside this morning. No rain to speak of out there on this Friday morning as we head through the day today. We are going to look at temperatures warm from the 30s where we are now into the 50s later on this afternoon. 50 for the recess hour and 58 when you head home from school. And we've got a fantastic Friday on the way, as you just saw there on your school bus forecast. But we do have increased cloud cover and a chance of rain down to the south for tomorrow, and big time cold for the end of next week. What is also at the end of next week? Christmas. How cold are we talking about? Potentially, and I emphasize potentially here, highs in the 30s, lows in the teens. I've got the details on what you need to know coming up here in just a few minutes. Wanye.
Alrighty then, and we were supposed to have some sound from a fifth grader just talking about how she really does enjoy using that popular app, TikTok, and I know that many of you may like using the app as well. But some federal and state lawmakers are sounding the alarm over possible cybersecurity concerns. On Wednesday night, the U.S. Senate passed a bill banning TikTok on all federal-owned devices. Yesterday, Governor Brian Kemp followed suit, issuing a ban on all state-owned equipment, and a Dallas state senator wants to ban the app statewide. For many, TikTok is just a fun way to pass some time, but Mercer cybersecurity professor Jonathan Yerby says it can actually be a dangerous app. Yerby says the app monitors all kinds of data from the content you like to even the keystrokes that you make when you're texting. He says the app might even store data from your camera.
They collect your time zone, your advertising ID, which can be reversed to track exactly who you are.
Yerby says since the app tracks keystrokes, you may even know your passwords or other personal information. His best advice, go ahead, delete the app, and maybe do a factory reset on your phone. It's now 6:33. A Jones County man is in jail this morning after what Warner Robins police call a domestic dispute that turned deadly. It's part of the new information that we've learned in a homicide case that we broke for you here on 13 WMAZ Morning yesterday. A Warner Robins police detective says the shooting happened after 1 a.m. yesterday at Dolores Tolliver Park. They say as 30-year-old Christy Fisher rode with two people in her car, her husband started ramming it with his vehicle and started shooting it. Christy was shot and later died at the hospital. Police arrested Alexander Fisher where it all happened. He's charged with murder, aggravated assault, and aggressive driving. Investigators say Alexander believed Christy was having an affair with one of the people in the car.
Suspicious of where she was and what she was doing, and came to Warner Robins to attempt to locate her, and by sheer happenstance found her on the west side of the city and began following her, which led to the aggressive driving incident.
Christy leaves behind 4 children, sadly. Coroner James Williams says they are sending her body to the GBI crime lab. Well, right now, a Bibb County middle school teacher sits in jail accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a former student. Yesterday, Bibb County investigators arrested Ballard Hudson Middle School teacher Charles B. Jackson. You see him there on your screen. They received a report about a relationship and issued warrants for his arrest. They're holding the 54-year-old on charges of statutory rape and aggravated child molestation. Right now, he's in the Bibb County Jail without bond. A Bibb County school employee is one of the latest involved in a lawsuit claiming denial of trans health care benefits. Benjamin Johnson, a school media specialist, along with 2 others, are suing several Georgia agencies. Johnson transitioned from female to male. The suit describes how the Milledgeville native was teased as a child for being too masculine and was diagnosed with gender dysphoria 5 years ago and legally changed his name and gender in 2020. After being diagnosed with gender dysphoria, he elected to have surgery. He says he ran into problems with what he calls discriminatory health care and knew he couldn't be the only one.
I was like, is this something not right? And, going forth, I'm like, well, there's got to be other people not getting this too, because not just me, because I mean, there's plenty of transgender people I know in Middle Georgia area.
The school district says they are aware of the issues raised by Johnson, but have not been served with the lawsuit. They deny discriminating against him in any fashion. Well, meanwhile, shifting gears to another story. This is a sad one. Delois Braswell remembers her grandson, Nathaniel Elder, as humble and kind. He's a 16-year-old homicide victim who died off of Log Cabin Drive on Wednesday night. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says he died from a gunshot to the back. Braswell tells us Elder had a troubled past, but was working to try and turn his life around. She says he had just got back from a Job Corps training program that night around 7. Elder was shot about 2 hours later. This kind of heartbreak is nothing new for Braswell. She also lost her son to gun violence.
That's not going to be good for me. That's not going to be good at all. I'm not going to have a good Christmas. I know I'm not. I'm probably going to have a good rest of my life now, because he ain't here with me.
The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says they're still trying to find out what led up to the shooting. If you have any information on what happened, please call the Bibb County Sheriff's Office. That number is 478-751-7500. That number again for you, it's 478-751-7500. Macon Regional Crime Stoppers says it's estimated 33% of all gun crimes in Macon-Bibb County have been committed by an offender under the age of 14. Warren Selby with Crime Stoppers says helping young folks understand how to communicate and settle disputes without violence is part of the prevention arm of Crime Stoppers. Selby, the chair of the 23-year-old organization, is this week's guest on Central Georgia Focus. He says adults are not the only ones who are encouraged to share valuable anonymous tips.
Now, we also offer our student program where they can call and give us tip information. We've had a lot of weapons recovered. We do that under the radar screen, but here it is, it's simple in my mind. If we recovered one gun from a school, that's more than we should. But that one gun could have saved your daughter, sister, brother, and so to me, it's well worth it.
Learn more about how Crime Stoppers works in your community. Check out Central Georgia Focus on 13 WMAZ and streaming on the 13 WMAZ Plus app. 6:38, time to get a check of your state news. There's a good chance the price of your power bill is going to be going up. Georgia's Public Service Commission and Georgia Power agreed on a rate increase. The power company will get a $1.8 billion rate increase over 3 years. Now, that's more than $1 billion less than what they were asking for. Starting on January the 1st, the average home electric bill would increase by about $3.60 a month, or 2.5%. The typical bill would go up around $6.50 in 2024, and then again the next year. The increase still needs approval from the full Public Service Commission. They're scheduled to vote next Tuesday. Miss Georgia and Warner Robins native Kelsey Hollis finished in the top 5 on the Miss America stage. Last night, she came in as the 4th runner-up, and she receives a $10,000 scholarship. All night long, fans cheered her on at the watch party at Rigby's and Warner Robins. On the first night of the competition, Hollis won a social impact scholarship for her advocacy of autism awareness. Lysandra Anderson spent time cheering on her fellow Central Georgian.
And Kelsey, she is a very amazing young lady. Throughout high school, she would have a pageant for the special need young ladies.
And congratulations, Kelsey. We are proud of you. So Miss Wisconsin, Gracie Sankey, took home the Miss America crown. She receives a $50,000 scholarship and a year-long national tour to advocate for the social issue. That's important to her. Looking to the weekend, tomorrow at noon, Andersonville National Cemetery will host Wreaths Across America to remember and honor veterans. They will lay remembrance wreaths on graves and say each name aloud. You can go to their website and volunteer to help lay a wreath or donate to sponsor one. They've received more than 20,000 wreaths so far. Time is now 6:40 here on your Friday morning. There's so much that's going to be going on this weekend. I know we've been running through it all, but you're definitely going to want to make sure you're wrapping up so you don't catch a cold.
Wrapping your gifts, because
Yes.
this is the last weekend before Christmas. So if you've got Christmas shopping to do, now's the time to do it. And luckily the weather's going to be at least decent for that here over the next few days. We did pick up about 1.25 inches of rain yesterday at Middle Georgia Regional Airport. That puts us up almost 2.5 inches on the year. But as we head into the next few days, we do have a slight chance to add to that here for the month of December. Here's a live look across downtown. 39 the current number here in Macon as well as in Warner Robins. 33 now in Cochrane, pretty close to freezing down there. How about 40 down in McRae, 37 in Milledgeville, 36 in Monticello, and waking up to 39 in Hancock County this morning. Nothing out there on the radar picture. We do have high pressure sandwiched between two cold fronts right now. This is the cold front that came through yesterday. That's now off the coast. This second one's not going to be able to make it all the way through central Georgia, but it is going to have an influence on our weather, and I'll show you how here in just a moment. But first, through the day today, temperatures into the 50s by the noon hour. I think we top off somewhere in the mid to upper 50s. I've got 58 as a high temperature here in Macon. Then waking up tomorrow morning, some clouds across the area. Temperatures not quite as cool thanks to that cloud cover. And as we head into the day tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with clouds through much of the day. Could even see a shower or two down to the south as I play that forward there, infringing on our far southern counties there. I've seen a few model runs try to pull that to the north a little bit. So as of now, I've got a 20% chance of rain, but the chance of staying dry is very high for Saturday. Regardless, on Sunday, the cloud cover will be out of here, and we are looking at a great forecast for everything we've got going on Sunday, including the Macon Christmas Parade. Expecting temperatures in the upper 40s for that at 4 p.m. with plenty of sun to go around. Then into next week, dry on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, a little iffy here. You can see there's not a whole lot of agreement in the models aside from a system tracking to the south. It's just a question of, one, if we get rainfall, two, when we get rainfall, because that could be either on Tuesday and Wednesday. As of now, I've got a 20% chance of rain on both days, but I really do think it's going to be one or the other, so we've got to iron out the details there. As for the month of December, I mentioned we have a surplus of rain now for the year, not for the month of December, still down close to 0.4 of an inch. We did get about an inch and we'll say an inch and a half, inch and a third over the course of the past 2 days across central Georgia, which brought us up a little bit in the near normal range, but still we're going to fall below that as we roll into the next few days because we're not expected to get that much. Beyond the next 7 days, the next 6 to 10 days, this is the outlook for that. The likelihood of very below average temperatures, very high. We could be talking about potentially overnight lows in the teens across central Georgia, afternoon highs in the 30s. That would come your way next Friday and Saturday, and I think that's a pretty strong likelihood there. But until we get there, still talking about cold weather, highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s. How about 27 there on Monday morning? The first day of winter is on Wednesday. A 20% chance of rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But as I just mentioned, as we roll closer to Christmas, we will go much colder than what you see on the screen right now.
Thank you, Alex. Coming up at 6:45, our morning reporter TJ Anthony standing by. He's going to reveal this week's School of the Week. He shows you how this A+ school took steps to improve students' reading and help them think about character. Stay with us. 13 WMAZ Morning continues.